A pleasure to meet all at last, and now it's time to talk specifically about Extinction for number 1970 of HJN Season 3. And now, we're ready to go here. To put it simply, Extinction is the event that everyone's always feared, whether it be humanity or other species of animals, plants, and otherwise. And why is that specifically? And it's because extinction is the one thing that could potentially end all life on Earth. After all, the last big time that a major wipeout of almost all life on Earth happened was all the way back 66 million years ago, in an event known as the KT era. Basically, KT, or Creation Territory, was a point in history that happened millions of years ago, which was actually how dinosaurs went extinct. Just about every animal out there, including some species of reptiles, flying animals, aquatic animals, so to speak. But, of course, up to 20% of all animals that somehow happen to survive the likes of the KT event, or just simply put, the extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs, they were able to carry on all the way out to today. Such animals including rodents, like mice and rats, insects, centipedes and scorpions, and then of course we have the likes of reptiles like gators and turtles, and even primates like monkeys, some of which had evolved and eventually evolved, so to speak, into what we know nowadays as the hominid, the first early ancestors that eventually transcended into today's part of life itself, known as the Homo sapien, or modern day human. Yet it is quite likely that someday we will go through another evolutionary phase, and another new version of the human shall be made in history. It could be centuries from now before that happens, millennia, but when it does, it'll be quite a record to put in for science and history. But let's just go forwards a little bit, because there have been a few recorded cases of potential extinction level threats. If you're familiar with an asteroid known as Apophis, that is set to strike Earth in the year 2029. That's 6 years in the future. Who really knows at this point what could happen then? We might have ourselves something that's even worse than the current politics, all the standards put into play. Social media might probably become non-existent after all these years of complete chaos that has emerged. Or maybe there could be something else that happens that's even bigger than what we would have originally anticipated. Well, you know what they say, only time will tell. Until that happens though, we're not really bound to know what the future itself holds. But think about it. Scientists have been able to find out that Apophis does have dimensions that are similar, if not the same, as the KT asteroid that struck the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico back in 66 million years ago. So, when you really get down to it, the trajectory isn't quite well known at this point, but Apophis is speculated to actually be coming towards Earth's orbit. It'll take years, of course, for it to show up, but in the event that it does, oh man, it could possibly be an extinction that could hit us really hard. Yet we have actually been able to create a possible means of escape from this potential doomsday. An underground bunker that could very well situate a large number of people at once, a settlement that will very much likely guarantee the survival of humanity for years to come. But the thing is, It's not just the asteroid known as Apophis, but it's also the concerns about the Yellowstone volcano. The one and only super volcano. Oh man, that thing could pack a punch that's quite similar to what happened 66 million years ago. That thing could blow up with thousands of atom bombs worth of energy, way more powerful than Mount St. Helens, Vesuvius, Pinatubo, Krakatoa, Tambora, and probably anything else. I mean, it's just crazy. One could only imagine that when you think about it, the last major eruption that actually occurred in Yellowstone National Park's supervolcano itself was millions of years ago, much like the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. But much like how the Apophis could very well cause extreme devastating damage to the Earth, and a crater that might as well be similar in size and mass to that of the Yucatan crater, it very well may be likely enough that the Yellowstone supervolcano could itself erupt again in the coming years. They do say that it may not erupt in the immediate future, but because so many years have passed since the last major eruption that it held, it's quite likely that the crater itself, the caldera that lies within that little lake, underneath that lake itself, it could very well be active, and it could explode. So many nuclear bombs worth of energy, it might as well level out the entire country as we know it. At least half of the whole country would probably be decimated, or even buried by ash. Then again, it's not just the likes of a supervolcano or an asteroid, but there's thousands of other ways. A potential zombie threat with this so-called new fungus that has apparently been thawed after so many years as well. Or there could be the likelihood that global warming might cause certain tsunami levels to occur from the caps melting. Or maybe a solar flare could level us all into smithereens. Or possibly anything else. A hypernova? A black hole? The possibilities are kind of endless at this point. Heck, they've even speculated that if our orbit, or even our own course in terms of the Earth's orbit in and of itself, the axes, the way that it turns, the way that it rotates and evolves around the sun, there could be a likelihood that its magnetic energy could also play a role in Earth's potential doom. And so, it's a little complicated at this point. So much so, I'm probably going to have to just stop it here before it gets too far. So with that in mind, I'm Jay Nowak, and this has been HJN. I'll be signing off for now, but with a whole new level of content coming your way soon.